Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yes, Esther's Phalaenopsis Orchids here again. So I keep on complaining about mealybug. So I thought I'd do a video on what I've done about my mealybug because I have not been able to combat the problem, what I've tried, what's been successful, what hasn't been successful, what's easy. I don't like sprays. I'm trying to grow my flowers without sprays. So first of all, mealybugs. What are they? They are tiny little creepy little white bugs, and they hide. So I have quite a few orchids here. I'm going to have to try and turn some around. So they get, okay, so here on my leaf, this little thing up here by my fingertip is a mealybug, and my camera is not going to get it up close. So they hide between the leaves in the crown. They sneak in all the little crevices and they grow down there. They absolutely love the flower buds, and they can make them drop their flowers if they get too many on there, because they will basically eat the flowers. And I always wondered why some of my plants had damage on the leaves as they came out. Okay, here's a better example, if I can get that one in the light. This little blighter here is a mealybug. So he's a little oval bug. He's white. He's got like hairy little legs. And a good sign that I've got him on my plants is they create the sticky stuff on the leaves. I have noticed this year that also this discoloration here in the leaf, and a really good example of that is this. So yes, I dropped that orchid and I broke its leaf, but on the other side of that is damage from mealybugs, and down in the crown of the plant you start getting all this black discoloration. So I'm going to try tipping one of my plants up so that you can see where else they really like to hide. So this could get messy. Come along for the ride. So this is my other plant that in 2017 I was given some money and I decided to buy orchids for my birthday. So this was the pale lemon one, and it did flower last year, but this year it's not doing so well, whereas the other one was doing fantastically. So I investigated my reason why. So although some of my things may fall out of the pot, we have to try and tip the pot to discover what's going on under here. So mealybugs get on the leaves. You can see one there. Don't know how much light I'm going to get to focus under there. They get in your media. So I have nice bark chips. They'll, oops, get in my bark chips. Oh, there you go. That works really well. See all those little white spots on the leaves there? Those are the mealybugs under there, and they make little nests, like little cocoon type things. So see here in my bark, really nice new clean bark with little nests of mealybugs. So another favourite place that they really like to hang out is the tips of the leaves. So now some of the damage that they actually do to the leaves is spotting. I wondered why on some of my plants I had spotting on the edge of my leaves. And that is my mealybugs as well. This was the other damage I wondered about a leaf. I have these bits where the edges of the leaves look really dry. And we thought, well, maybe it's a fertilizer problem, or maybe it's a drying of the plant problem. But no, I have, over a few years of dealing with mealybugs, come to the conclusion that that's the damage they can do when the leaf is still coming out from the plant. We got less on this leaf, but it still has it. all the way up the edge of the plant. And another thing when you get lots of these on your plants is that you will see tiny, tiny, tiny little white specks all up the edge of your leaf. You might also see in your water, when you take your plants out of the water, that you have these little white speckles all in your water. I don't know whether that's going to show up, but that's the pot I've watered it in, and there are all these tiny little white speckles. So on this one here, this leaf is going to show you the damage that they can do when they're in the plant and the plant leaf is really tender and just coming out of the crown. That's the kind of thing they can do as well. Their favourite place for hiding is up in here, and once your flowers are blooming and out, boy, they love the flowers. So what have I been trying to do? I have been attempting to make sure that I keep my infestation down with this stuff. Good old New Zealand Kiwi Palmolive. Okay, so what I do is at the supermarket I buy some really nice cheap fibre cloths here, and I chop them up. So I have these little bits and pieces. I stick a speck of the Palmolive on there, put it under the warm water, squeeze most of the water out, and yes, I do wash both sides of my leaves. So I gently wash the tops of the leaves. I'll clean all underneath the leaves and get all those little eggs and things off from the edges gently at the tip. Okay, so I'm not using a massive amount of Lux liquid, but the bugs don't like it. It doesn't damage the plant as long as you're only using a very small quantity of it, and that helps keep the infestation down. It does not get rid of them. What else have I tried? Okay, so I'm not super good with measurements, but I tried doing a treatment that used baby oil, a little bit of soap, and warm water, and soaking the plant in it. But I overdid the amount of baby oil. No fault of the person that gave me the recipe for doing this. Quite simply, I got so sick of mealy bugs on this plant, I overdid the oil, so I killed the leaves. 2 or 3 of the leaves just shriveled into a dried up, disgusting mess. This one now is actually managing to pick back up, and what is super brilliant is that down there we have another tiny weeny leaf forming. So the top half of this leaf just absolutely collapsed and flopped over. Okay, and it really did not do any good to the base of the plant. Apart from the fact that I had these 2 beautiful aerial roots, there's the stem of my plant. Doesn't even go into anything because I want to keep it dry. It was starting to rot. So what I do have left of this poor wee plant is the 2 aerial roots. So that's sitting in bark media, sitting on top of bark media, and 2 of its aerial roots go down into another pot that, as you can see, has damp sphagnum moss in it. So those 2 roots there are keeping this poor little plant alive. So I have noticed here, I think I have another root forming. Get away with that green. So here, there is some other little thing, whether it be a root, something that's trying to grow out of that poor wee plant there. So if you're going to use the oil and the little Lux liquid treatment, and be very, very careful that you're definitely only using the 1 or 2% of the mineral baby oil. The problem was I must have just got sick of the bugs and I just tipped in way too much oil. I tried washing it off the leaves. As you can see, this leaf here at the end is a bit darker in colour and it's flimsy, but luckily that leaf was still growing out and some of that leaf is okay. And now, as you can see, she has a wee tip in there. So that was baby oil or mineral oil, a little bit of Lux liquid, warm water, and treating it that way. My bad, I overdid the baby oil. So one of my other really handy helpful tips for using with mealy bugs and getting in odd places where you don't want mealy bugs to be is the simple little wooden skewer. Very cheap, very easy to use as long as you're not putting too much pressure on it. You poke it down into the little gaps, you squash a bug, you bring it back out, it's stuck on your tip, and you squash it. Bug gone. One more bug that can't be creating any damage. Be careful that you don't do too much damage to the leaf if you're putting too much pressure on it, although that is not what happened to this leaf. I dropped this orchid. So, but just be careful that you're not putting too much pressure on a young tender leaf with the tip of the skewer. But this really is the most handy thing for killing mealy bugs. You can squash them, you break their legs, you break anything off them, one less mealy bug. Okay, my other thing I had been trying was, of course, my isopropyl alcohol. When I first started using isopropyl alcohol, I was just trying to touch the bugs and get rid of them that way. I kind of wondered whether that was what was causing the drying and the damaging of these, so I stopped using it. Now I really feel this is more the fact that the bugs had munched on this, because I have seen on other people's videos that they actually use the isopropyl and they spray the bugs with them. I've yet to try that. I will try that on one orchid, a cheap orchid that I'm not too worried about losing. I won't be trying it on any of my favourites, and we will see how alcohol goes. Another thing I have heard is half alcohol, half water, and using that as well. So I did soak about 2 or 3 other orchids in the baby oil mixture that I used on this one, and it must have been before I added more oil, and it did successfully knock the amount of mealy bugs down, but unfortunately they have still popped up again, and I have not actually managed to rid my plant completely of the mealy bug with that treatment. It's not the kind of treatment you would want to be doing 2 or 3 times in a row. It is something that you can only do once or twice in a year. So mealy bugs, I hate you. And problem continues. However, that's what I'm dealing with my mealy bugs. Alright, thanks very much for watching my video. If you enjoyed the information in my video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free to do so. Thank you for those who have subscribed to my channel and like to watch my videos. Cheers everybody. Bye.